Well, hello, everybody. This is Chaplain David Outing again. Another message on this Holy Week. Today is Thursday, and I want to cover the events that took place on the Thursday of the original Holy Week, almost 2,000 years ago, that took place in the life of Christ. So what took place? Now, we know tomorrow is Good Friday, and what's good about Good Friday, right? But the night before, the day before, here's a question I like to ask. How would you spend your last day on earth before dying? If you knew you were going to die tomorrow, how would you spend your last day on the earth? What would you say? What would you do? Who would you hang out with? You know, all those questions. And I just want to go over a number of things that happened. It's a power-packed day in the life of Christ on the day before Good Friday. Number one, he eats a last meal and celebrates Passover with his disciples. Now, one of the most blessed things that you and I can do is to connect with someone by sharing a meal with them. And so sharing a meal produces a level of intimacy as everybody sitting at the table there. So Jesus spends his last day eating a meal with his disciples. He also, at the same time, identifies the person that was going to betray him. In fact, he said to all 12 of his disciples, one of you shall betray me. None of them knew who he was talking about, but Jesus knew. And when he whispered over to Judas Iscariot and said, whatever you're going to do quickly. And so he identified the one that was going to betray him. He also instituted what is called the communion, or the Lord's Supper, in the sense that it becomes sacramental. One major denomination calls it Mass, and many in the Protestant world on the first Sunday of every month will celebrate the sacrament of communion. A fourth thing Jesus dealt with was amongst his disciples, there was a few of them jockeying to be the greatest. Who would be the greatest amongst? They wanted to be the greatest. They wanted to sit at the chief seats. But most want to be out front and great, but most don't want to serve, right? Jesus said, he that will be greatest among you, let him be servant. Let him be servant of all. And then the fifth thing Jesus did, he washes his disciples' feet. Can you imagine that? Dirt roads, smelly roads, because animals walk those roads too. And people walking those roads, and the feet in those days were dirty. And Jesus did the work of a servant, or a slave, if you will, by stooping down and washing his disciples' feet, removing their dirt, refreshing them. That shows you a level of humility. Conversely, in our culture, it seems a lot of times the higher you go, there's more people to serve, and you want people to serve you. And but Jesus was like, I'm going to show you a different model. I may be Lord, but I'm also your servant. And so he washes their feet. A sixth thing that happened that day was Peter, one of his closest disciples, denies him. Jesus foretold it. He said, hey, man, you're going to deny me. And we're all subject to times of what I call crisis of faith, based on situations that take place in our life. Jesus gave his last farewell message, telling them not let your heart be troubled, that he was the way, the truth, and the life. And if you've seen me, you've seen the Father. He wanted their joy to remain full. He told them to love one another, which was his new commandment. He said, the world's going to hate you because it hated me. But he said, I must go away or the Spirit will not come. Right. The eighth thing he did was give a farewell prayer. He prayed, that we would be one. And then the ninth thing he did was he prayed in Gethsemane, Father, if it be your will, take this cup from me. He knew what he was about to face. And but he went willingly to the cross. The 10th thing that happened that day was Jesus was betrayed and arrested. In fact, the way he was betrayed was the man Judas came and kissed him, because Judas had told him, the one I kiss is the one who you need to arrest. So they arrest Jesus, and Jesus was examined by the high priest. And it was said then that it was expedient that one man should die for the people. And you know what? That's what Jesus did. He died on the cross for each of us. Interesting enough, there is information outside of the Bible. We call it extra biblical sources of other known incredible people near that time, all corroborate the story of Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection. So, hey, have a happy Thursday. I hope you're enjoying today and this week because Friday is on the way. And tomorrow, let's talk about it. What's good about Good Friday? Hey, God bless you and God keep you. Have a great and wonderful and celebratory Holy Week this week and this weekend. Take care.